Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Let's talk some big pet data. Okay, so with our KVK coming to a close here, I thought it was a good time to give you an update on the Big Pet Data project. So we're looking at two things currently. The first, kind of just a fun thing, we're looking at how many rolls it takes to get to 2 skill slots. Okay, so you're regenerating a pet down because that's the easiest way to, get the talent skill off it. So we're just tracking the number of rolls it takes to get to 2 skill slots, and over time, seeing how many it takes on average. Last big pet data call, it was about 4.6. This time it's pretty close. With the aggregate data, we're looking at about 4.4 rolls on average to get to 2 skill slots. Okay, the second piece of data we're capturing here, and I think the more interesting data is the level of the warp head you capture, the quality of the warp head you capture versus the level of the warp head when you capture it. And now we've been told, for a long time that the higher level warp heads on average will give better skills to players, better, attributes, etc. But it's never been clear like how true that is, and it has an impact on your gameplay. Right? So if there is a significant correlation between getting higher level war pets and getting better skills, you should really make an effort to catch as high level war pet as you can at all times. On the other hand, if there's not a big correlation between those two, if basically getting a high level war pet doesn't mean a lot, then it's really in your incentive to just catch the first 4 or 5 whatever war pets you can find of the type you're looking for, and not worry so much about the level of the war pet. There's one pretty significant complicating factor here in that every season you get an event called Strongest War Pet. This happens after the Dragon Lair is occupied, and Strongest War Pet says that once an alliance has occupied the Dragon Lair, all players will have a greater chance of obtaining high level war pets. Okay, now there's a little ambiguity here. It's not 100% clear what this means. For example, like the level of the war pet that's displayed on the map. So you decide what level of war pet you capture. And so the assumption was this doesn't mean like literally the level of the war pet, like level 47 or level 50 or whatever. We think it means the quality of the war pet. As you catch a level 47 war pet, we think that if you catch it after the strongest war pet event occurs, on average, that level 47 will be better than a 47 before the strongest level of war pet. Okay. Now, there is a bit of a data collection issue here. And the easiest way to explain this is just think about level 50 war pets, right? Level 50 war pets can only be caught in the Dragon Zone. There's only a limited time in between when you go into the Dragon Zone in your KVK before the dragon itself is captured, just a few days. It's going to vary a little bit, but only a few days of catching those level 50 pre-strongest war pet event pets, right? And so let's say strongest war pet does have a pretty significant effect. Well, if you put all the data together, that would sort of skew the levels higher, right? So if you're catching only level 50 pets once you're in the Dragon Zone, and let's say they're a lot better, is it because they're level 50 war pets just intrinsically, or is it because the strongest war pet event is now effective and you're catching level 50 war pets because now they're just available for the first time? And it's not that they're level 50, it's because you have this event. So that was always an issue with the data pool. So I always segregated my data between, before the dragon is captured and after the dragon is captured to see if there's any big difference. Okay. Now, I will tell you, the data on level 50 war pets pre-dragon capture, it's not particularly robust. But to the extent the data suggests anything, it's that the strongest war pet really doesn't make any difference whatsoever. In fact, I caught a lot of level 50 war pets after this event, right? I was in the season with the Timeless Treasury, so I got, a ton of extra warrants from that. I've been catching level 50s exclusively for a while now. And on average, the level 50 war pets I'm capturing after the strongest war pet event are actually a little bit weaker than the ones I caught before it. So it's my conclusion at this point that strongest war pet, it doesn't seem to make a big a difference here. So for that purposes, I've merged the data just to make the data a little bit more robust. I'll keep it separate in my notes going forward, but right now I don't think strongest warp head makes a big difference. Okay, keeping that in mind, let's just go over the criteria again so everyone can understand what these numbers mean, okay? And when I set up the system, I really set it up as a keep it simple, stupid kind of system. So the methodology here is very simple, right? A 0-star skill is equal to 1 point. A 1-star skill is equal to 3 points. A 2-star skill is equal to 7 points. And a 3-star skill is equal to 15 points. Now, these star levels, it does not matter if it's the talent skill or if it's a random skill. It does not matter if it's a cheap skill or it's a more expensive skill. A couple of people have asked me, hey, why didn't I break it out that way? And I'll tell you, it's really just to keep it simple, right? Okay, with that in mind, I'm going to show you my numbers. I've caught a lot of warp pets starting at level 35 all the way to level 50. And the number you're going to see is the average value of the pet upon capture. Obviously, a higher number means a more valuable war pet. Okay, and here's a visual representation of these values. And there doesn't really appear to be any meaningful correlation between catching a higher level war pet and getting more value from the pet. The data isn't completely robust here, but it is much better than it was last time. I have another full season worth of catching war pets. I'm going to keep doing at least this portion for another season to see if there's any change in the data. But at this point, my conclusion is, hey, it doesn't really matter if you're catching, I don't know, Magic Fox. Just catch the first 4 or 5 or whatever Magic Fox you find. It doesn't really matter if you get the highest level every time, all right? As far as the rolls to 2 number, and that was just kind of fun, and I think the number's pretty stable there, so I don't think I'm going to be tracking that any longer. All right, and hey, that's all I got for you today. And until next time, you stay classy, Belleron.